Good afternoon, and welcome to everyone joining us for this quarter's Juris Tuesday topic webinar. Upgrading Juris software preparation is key. Our featured guest speaker is Teresa Waters, Juris Professional Services Consultant. She has been with Relics family of companies for 5 years, joining the Juris Professional Services team in early 2020. Teresa has a BS in Business Administration, concentration in accounting, from Columbia College, as well as a master's in forensic accounting from Webster University. Teresa has over 20 years of experience with accounts receivable and billing processes, as well as forecasting and data analysis. My name is Chantel, and I am the Assistant Marketing Manager for Juris, and I will be your host for today's session. Tuesday topic webinars are complimentary to our Juris customers and have been designed to help you get the most from your Juris software by providing you with time-saving tips and best practices for using Juris. The format for today's webinar is the presentation provided by Teresa, followed by a question and answer period. All of our attendees will be in listen-only mode for the duration of our presentation. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask them via the questions pane located on your webinar control panel. During the last 15 minutes of the webinar, Teresa will answer your questions. Please note that we are recording today's event and all attendees will receive an email within 1 week with a link to the recording and any slides that Teresa will use. Also, there is a brief survey at the end of our webinar today that would ask you to please take a moment to complete. Your feedback will help us in planning our future events. Teresa, at this time, I will turn the webinar over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our Tuesday topic. I'm your presenter, Teresa Waters. Today, I'm going to walk you through the process for upgrading to Juris 3.1, discuss the impact of the upgrade on your bill and check designs, as well as how becoming a tiered service plan member can help make this process more efficient for your firm. Today, we will be focusing on the upgrade process for Juris 3.1. We will go over what we look for with our network evaluation, including system requirements, an overview of the upgrade process and how it differs for our tiered service plan members versus non-TSP firms, and the steps we take to assist TSP members with their bill and check designs during an upgrade. I'll also show you some new features and fixes that have been made in 3.1. First, I'm going to talk about assessing and preparing your environment for upgrade. We start with a network evaluation for all clients coming into plan, migrating, or upgrading to ensure your firm's network infrastructure meets or exceeds our system's requirements. Some of the items we evaluate and review are your operating server and SQL versions, because not all versions are fully supported and others aren't supported at all. Windows Server version 2012 and above and virtual servers are supported. Windows 2008 and 2011 small business are not supported. Windows officially ended support for 2008 in January of 2020. SQL 2012 and above are supported, but there is limited support for SQL Express 2008 to 2014. Any SQL version below 2008 is not supported, as Microsoft has ended this support as well. There is also no support for any database over 9 gigabytes on SQL Express. We will also evaluate your workstation operating systems. Again, not all of these versions are supported. Windows 8 through 10 is fully supported, while Windows 7 has limited support. Additionally, we look at your used and available RAM, as well as the relation of RAM to the number of users concurrently accessing Juris. 4 gigabytes will cover 15 concurrent users. If you have more than 15, 1 gigabyte will be needed for each additional 5 licensed users over the initial 15. So for 20 licensed users, you would need 5 gigabytes total. For 25, you would need 6, and so on. We take a look at your used and available hard drive space. Your available space should be 3 times the combined size of your Juris and JBills files. We look at your connectivity settings, including antivirus and real-time scan exclusions, as well as the existence of remote offices and the remote access support position. Support is limited to the operation of the Juris products only. We do not assist with installing, configuring, or administering the remote environment components themselves. We also do not address issues that occur only in the remote access environment. We do address issues that we can reproduce in the current version of the Juris software in an environment that is fully supported. And we will also work to determine remote offices or those accessing remotely and how to connect. Please note that we no longer offer support for access report databases, reports written in Access, or the associated ODBC connections. Once our review is complete, we either sign off on your evaluation and start moving forward, or we make recommendations to get your system up to speed before the upgrade to ensure efficient performance for your firm while using Juris. The network evaluation is vital to the upgrade process because not having enough RAM to support the number of concurrent users is one of the most common reasons for performance degradation. Checking this before the upgrade allows us to confirm that there is enough RAM to support all users of your firm, so Juris will perform at an optimal level. The second most common reason for performance degradation is if your log files are too large. If they are the same size or larger than your database files, this should raise a red flag. This issue can be avoided, however, with an SQL maintenance plan and regular backups of the database. We've provided several links here, including SQL maintenance recommendations, which you will be able to access from the posted presentation that will provide information on system requirements for upgrading to 3.1, Juris and Juris Suite release notes, connectivity settings, which can lead to slow responses from Juris if not configured correctly, SQL maintenance recommendations, which provides a list of the maintenance jobs we recommend to keep your log files at an appropriate size to enhance Juris's performance. We've also included links to instructions for uploading your data to our FTP site, as well as how to perform a backup using both Juris Management Console and SQL Server Management Studio. Now I'm going to provide a brief overview of the upgrade process as a tiered service plan member. First, I'd like to note that Juris 3.1 has an unusually high adoption rate. Additionally, this is a more involved upgrade process than normal and requires advanced planning with your Juris professional services team, your IT group, and your billing and accounting teams. So it's very important to plan in advance for a successful upgrade. If you're thinking about upgrading in the next 4 to 6 months, get the process started now by sending in a request to our Juris ProServe email address. Then one of our consultants can provide a 30-minute overview of the process, if you need it, before we get the upgrade kicked off. We will need a copy of your password-protected backup files uploaded to our FTP site. Once we've received those, we restore your data, import and run reports that will determine how many matters are assigned to each bill design for both pre-bills and bills, as well as bill designs not in use, and email you the results. It is extremely critical that you review these reports and recommendations as soon as possible. Failing to do so can delay your upgrade process or potentially result in removal from our upgrade queue. With the number of upgrades we are currently processing, it could take some time to get back up in that queue once you're out. Once we've established a delivery date for your designs, we will set up a call with our 2L team on your behalf to get you on their upgrade schedule. We provide your network evaluation to the 2L team at that time as well. If your firm is not a member of our tiered services plan, your upgrade process differs. You can call 877-377-3740 and let them know that you wish to upgrade. If you only use Juris Core, our 1L technical team will handle your upgrade. If you use both Core and Suite, the 1L team will create a call with the 2L team, who will schedule the upgrade and coordinate an install on your firm's desired date. There is no bill design conversion work done prior to your upgrade, but if you discover formatting issues during your post-upgrade testing, you can reach out to the 1L team for assistance in correcting those. However, if you wish to engage our professional services team for your upgrade and enjoy the benefits of personal service during and after your upgrade, along with pre-upgrade bill design edits, please email jps@lexisnexis.com for tiered service plan pricing. We'd like to note that there are some restrictions when upgrading to 3.1, regardless if you are a TSP or non-TSP member. If you have any third-party integrations, we suggest having your solution provider contact us to obtain the install files to ensure that their product is compatible with Juris. If you are integrating Juris with Time Matters, please make sure that you have Time Matters 16.2 or above prior to your upgrade. Due to a change in the code platform from VB to .NET that impacts both bill and check designs when upgrading, some edits may be required to these when you upgrade. If you're a non-TSP member, those will be corrected by our 1L team as you discover them in post-upgrade testing. If you are a TSP member, the process is a little more involved. In order to get onto our 2L team's upgrade schedule, as we mentioned, we must first find out the scope of your bill and check design edits. Basically, upgrading your designs amounts to a consultant manually editing formatting issues. You will want to schedule your upgrade to take place after your billing cycle, or your largest billing cycle if you have multiple, so there is sufficient time to test the edited designs and make additional edits if needed. Some of the most common issues we see with bill and check designs after upgrading are increased or decreased spacing in between time and expense entries, unbound or blank fields appearing on your printed bills, fields and logos resizing, entire designs shifting toward the right or left margin, which we actually anticipate fixing in 3.2, changes in border type, and labels or data fields bunching or overlapping. Once your upgrade is complete and the designs imported, each design should be tested prior to your next billing cycle to confirm that no additional edits are needed. Here are some examples of the formatting issues we see. Although it's a slight change, you can see that the line under payments received is darker in version 2.6.1. We will adjust any border sizes in 3.1 to bring them as close to the original as possible. In this example, you'll notice that the spacing in between the time entries has increased in 3.1. We make multiple adjustments to the bill design to restore it to its original spacing. Here you'll see that the text billing through has shifted very slightly to the left and is no longer lined up with the rest of the text on the right. We use tools in the bill designer to realign these fields. In this last example, you can see where field 5 is on the printed copy, but the field isn't visible in the bill design. It takes a few extra steps to locate and delete this field to keep it from appearing on your bills. As a TSP member, one of our consultants will review your designs and make the appropriate edits at no charge against your TSP hours for up to 5 bill designs and 2 check designs. The first step in this editing process will be getting your data uploaded to our FTP site. A consultant will then retrieve and upload your data into your current version of Juris and generate several reports from Juris Suite. Those reports are a detailed and summarized view of bill formats assigned to open matters, listed by code, with the total count per code. We also generate a detailed and summarized view of pre-bill formats assigned to open matters, as well as bill formats not being used. Your consultant will review these reports to determine your 5 most used designs for upgrade. We will also view your bank accounts in the tables to see which check designs are in use for editing. We then forward the 2 summary reports to you for review and any edits. This is in case you need additional designs that we have not identified, or you may not need designs we have identified and would prefer to have others edited in their place. We will also send the report Bill Designs Not in Use. These designs are not assigned to any client matters and can be deleted from your database either prior to or after your upgrade, unless they are AR statements or pre-bill editing formats that you use. If you anticipate that you may need any of these designs in the future, we recommend you export and save them prior to deleting them from Juris. Once you receive these reports, please review them as soon as possible and provide confirmation or edits, because this determines your place in our upgrade queue. Here's an example of each of the reports that you should receive for review prior to your upgrade. It's a concise breakdown of the bill designs that are currently in use by your firm. We do generate 2 additional reports, which list each bill and pre-bill design and provides a list of every matter that each is assigned to. Those aren't typically sent because they're rather large files, but they are available if requested. As I mentioned, the bill format's not assigned report lists designs that are not assigned to any matters. This doesn't mean that they aren't being used. Some of these may only be used on an as-needed basis, such as AR statements and pre-bill editing. So you want to make sure you don't delete those. Like I mentioned, we do recommend you export those and save them for a few months, just in case a need arises for them. Again, your upgrade does include edits for up to 5 bill designs and 2 check designs. Any designs over those numbers will be charged against your plan hours. A bill design can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour or more to reformat, so please keep this in mind to ensure that you have enough hours available to cover the edits, if you have a significant number over the 5 allowed. Once we've received your final list of designs, we start working on the edits for your upgrade. We print a sample of each bill and check design in your current version of Juris. Original designs are exported and saved just in case something happens in our process and we need to start over. Next, we rev the database to your new version of Juris, print samples of each of your bill and check designs again to determine what edits need to be made. Once we've figured out the edits for each design, we work within the bill designer with multiple prints and reviews to bring them back to the formatting they had in your previous version. When the designs are finished, we will reach out to you to get an idea of when you would like to schedule your upgrade so we can open a ticket with our 2L team. Once your upgrade is scheduled, we will forward your designs to you as a zipped file, along with instructions on importing them in Juris in Bill Designer once your upgrade is complete, which is a fairly simple process. Sometimes a design will look really good on our end, but may need some tweaks after you import on your end. So we ask that you please get your designs imported and tested as soon as possible after your upgrade. Do not wait until your next billing or payment cycle to test them, because if we need to make additional edits, the sooner after your upgrade is complete, the better to have them done. If you wait until your next billing cycle and problems arise, making the edits could cause a delay in getting your bills out the door. As I mentioned, this process only applies to TSP clients. Those firms not in our tiered services plan do not receive edits to their designs prior to their upgrade. As a Juris TSP customer, we want to help make your upgrade as smooth as possible. We will be there every step of the way to assist you with staying on schedule and making any recommendations. I'd like to take some time to mention some of the many benefits of upgrading to version 3.1. They include, for those of you whose client pay, the client code and matter code will now be displayed on the client pay online payment page, which is client facing, for each open bill, making it easier to identify which bills payments are being made against. This will help to streamline the process of receiving and recording payments, increasing accuracy and efficiency. It also reduces the amount of time staff spends managing payment transactions. Client pay trust integration is also now available. Juris now allows online trust payments through client pay. To integrate those online payments, you would need an account key for a client pay merchant account and a PIN. This is provided by client pay and will be different from the account key used for client pay online payments for those who are using credit cards to pay bills. The date selection is now retained for editing transactions. Retaining this selection is beneficial for those who routinely choose something other than the default selection, and it reduces the chance that you will incorrectly post adjustments in the wrong period. The selection last chosen for today's date, original date, or bill through date will be saved on a per user basis when editing transactions in unpost bills, time and expense adjustment batches, and when making edits within pre-bill editing that are not WIP transfers. A new option is now available, allowing you to clear just the pre-bill preferences with no other areas of Juris being affected. Juris Management Console has always had an option to clear employee preferences. However, it cleared all preferences for a user, which isn't always ideal because it impacts other areas in Juris. Many firms just want to clear the preferences for pre-bills, such as selection, editing, printing, etc., and now you can. You also now have the ability to scroll with the mouse in pre-bill editing. This is a feature that has been requested for quite some time and is now available. You no longer have to use the sidebar to scroll through the pages of your pre-bill. Customizable email templates are now available to use for emailing final bills. Templates are created and set up and managed and are available in export email bills on the billing menu. And we also have resolutions to over 25 customer reported issues. While it's difficult to show some of these features in action, we've provided a few examples of the new functionality. This first screenshot is one of the areas that will now retain your date selection, which is unpost bills. If you select original date, Juris will retain that selection for your next transaction. Here is a view of the feature, which allows you to clear pre-bill preferences only in Juris Management Console. Previously, the only option available was to clear employee preferences, which would change the user's Juris menus and views back to the default settings. Now, as you can see, there is the option for pre-bill preferences also, both of which can be accessed by right-clicking on the appropriate user in Management Console. Also available is another long-requested feature, the ability to add custom text to your email templates. You have the option of sending the Juris default email or selecting custom. So when your firm goes to send the bill through export and email bills, the text will be added to each email sent. With this template, the subject line and email body are customizable by you, and you can use the email tokens or variables in the subject line and email body. You can also include a payment link, but it only applies if the client is using online payments. As I mentioned, there were also fixes to over 25 customer reported issues. A few of those corrected in 3.1 involved the bank reconciliation. In previous versions, there were problems with GL accounts not showing correctly on reconciling entries, the GL balance not refreshing after a new entry, and the payee column not updating correctly for new reconciling entries. These have all been corrected in 3.1. Multiple errors were also encountered in previous versions when selecting pre-bills. Previously, you would receive an error when selecting pre-bills on large databases or when a consolidated matter was set to flat fee or retainer with no fees entered. There were also errors printing pre-bills in bills if the fee recap wasn't grouped. These issues have also been corrected in 3.1. The vendor inquiry screen will now show full check numbers instead of limiting to 8 digits as it did in prior versions. Payment vouchers will now sort numerically by record number in a batch, and the inquiry type is no longer cut off the grid in inquiry. Additionally, you now have the ability to use slashes and hyphens when naming time entry batches. We have also added new quick navigation features. You can now search by bill number and see bill date and balance, as well as view the archived bill. Users can now search by check number and view the vouchers paid by that check, and we've added the posted field to show whether or not the selected voucher is posted in check lookup. In voucher lookup, you can now search by voucher number and view the voucher. For cash receipts, you can search by billing number or check number and see the cash receipt details. I've provided the link here again for Juris and Juris Suite release notes for more information on additional fixes and enhancements in 3.1. If you're ready to start taking advantage of these improved features and enhancements, you can schedule your upgrade today by reaching out to a consultant at jurisproserve@lexisnexis.com if you are a member of our tiered services plan. If you are not a TSP member, you can call 877-377-3740 to schedule your upgrade. If you are interested in becoming a member of our tiered services plan to take advantage of our personalized assistance, you can reach out to jps@lexisnexis.com for pricing details. We did have a few questions come in prior to the webinar, so I'll address those now. Then go over to Chantel so we can take additional questions. We had a question regarding server requirements. Windows 2012 and above are supported, as well as virtual server. So if you have a server version below that, you'll likely want to upgrade that prior to upgrading Juris. I had another question regarding if it was possible to upgrade to 3.0 rather than 3.1. This is possible. However, there may be some defects in 3.0 that we've addressed in 3.1. So you might want to reach out to find out what those differences are. And lastly, we had a question regarding recommended firm setup options, accrual versus cash. We recommend cash for fees and accrual for expenses, but there's a lot to consider for each of those. So we suggest reaching out to a professional services consultant who can properly advise you and assist with setting those up. I'm going to go over to Chantel now to see if we have any additional questions.
All right. Thank you, Teresa, for a very informative session. This does conclude the presentation portion of our webinar. As a reminder, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them via the questions pane located on your webinar control panel. Before we turn to your questions, I would like to announce that in light of rising concerns around the COVID-19 Delta variant, Juris has made the difficult decision to postpone the 2021 Juris User Conference until spring 2022. While we are disheartened that we will not be having this year's user conference come September, we still want to offer you an opportunity to connect with the Juris team. And we are happy to announce the complimentary Juris virtual conference on October 14th, 2021. Please visit jurisconference.com for more information on how to join this exciting event. Okay, first question. Are the access reports such as client ledger history by bill included in Juris Suite reporting?
The Juris West Coast, Juris Supplemental, Classic View Plus, GL Portrait are in 3.1 in Suite. If it was a custom report, it would have to be converted to Suite. And you could reach out to JPS@LexisNexis for information on that.
Okay. When will 3.2 be released? We started the process to schedule a 3.1 upgrade and were told by Juris Tech Rep to hold off until October due to the issues with 3.1.
I believe that is going to be early next, no, I think it might be September. So that's just around the corner. For some reason, I thought it was early next year, but it looks like it is actually September. But we will keep you updated on that.
Can you go straight to 3.1 from 2.6? I'm sorry.
You absolutely can, yes.
What sort of downtime for users is associated with the upgrade?
Well, we do have to have all of the users out while they're performing the upgrade. I want to say it's probably 2 to 3 hours. We do schedule it for 3 hours, so we don't anticipate it would go over that.
We want to know which reports you should run on the live system right before you back that up, and they restore it onto the new server for testing. to confirm that the data in the new system matches that in the live.
That's not really necessary. The upgrade process doesn't have any impact on your data because the entire database is moved. So it's not just pieces of it. So you should be okay to not have to run any reports.
Okay. If we are using version 2.8.6, do we need to update to 3.1?
I would certainly recommend it. There have been some changes since 286. The good thing is, though, with 286, when you upgrade from 286 to 3.1, you don't have to have the build designs converted. So that takes a little bit less time.
Okay, that was the last question. Again, if there's any additional questions, you guys can go ahead and add it in the panel now. All right. Are there new features to archive old data and get the size of the Juris backup down?
Not entirely certain I understand the question. You want to know if we can archive off old items that are no longer needed, such as like bills, I'm assuming. To my knowledge, we do not have anything like that. And I just confirmed with a teammate, no, we do not have that.
There are no
Okay.
new questions. There's some time if anybody wants to ask any other questions. If not, you can always contact a member of our professional services team and they will be happy to answer you. Oh, a copy of the webinar to be emailed? Yes, a copy of the webinar and the presentation and a recording will be mailed out next week sometime. All right. Since there's no more questions, that concludes today's webinar, and I would like to thank Teresa once again for her expert advice on today's session, and to all of our attendees for taking time out of your busy day to join us. I have a few quick follow-up reminders. All attendees will receive an email within 1 week with a link to a recording of today's webinar, as well as any slides Teresa used for her presentation. In closing, there is a brief survey at the end of our webinar today, and we ask you to please take a moment to complete. Your feedback will help us in planning our future webinars. Thank you all for your time today. I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks so much, Teresa.
Thank you.